Welcome to World Information HD, where history, mystery, and value come together. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of U.S. coinage, specifically Lincoln pennies. From minting mistakes, ultra-low production numbers, to coins almost lost to time, these are 17 Lincoln pennies so rare and so prized, their value stretches into the millions. Stay tuned as we reveal their stories, their mint marks, and what makes them worth more than just spare change. The year was 1960, a time when the United States of America stood at the crossroads of change. John F. Kennedy was elected president, the Cold War loomed large in the background, and American families found themselves both hopeful for the future and cautious of the unknown. Amid this atmosphere of transformation and anticipation, millions of coins were struck by the U.S. Mint. Among them was a small, copper coin that many Americans barely noticed as they slipped it into their pockets and purses. The Lincoln 1-cent penny with the D Mint mark, produced at the Denver Mint. At first glance, the 1960 D penny might seem like just another ordinary cent, but those who study coins know that appearances can be deceiving. Behind its unassuming size and coppery glow lies a story that has intrigued collectors for decades, a story of varieties, errors, and the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln's profile engraved into the American imagination. Let's take a journey back to the design itself. The obverse side, featuring the iconic bust of Abraham Lincoln, was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of his birth. Sculptor Victor David Brenner created the design, and it became one of the most enduring and beloved images on U.S. coinage. By the time the 1960 D pennies were being struck, Lincoln's profile had already been in circulation for over half a century, silently narrating America's evolving history with every transaction. On the reverse side, the simple yet elegant image of the Lincoln Memorial stood tall, symbolizing not just the man himself but the principles of unity and strength. Now, the Denver Mint in 1960 was a hub of bustling activity. That year, the Mint produced an astonishing number of Lincoln pennies. But what makes the 1960 issue particularly fascinating is the fact that it came in two distinct varieties: the small date and the large date. The differences may appear subtle to the casual observer, but to coin collectors, those slight shifts in font size and numeral placement are monumental. The small date variety of 1960 D pennies features a more compact 1960, where the numeral 6 appears higher and the overall digits look tighter together. The large date variety, by contrast, has bolder, broader digits that stand out more prominently. While both varieties were minted in massive quantities, their subtle differences sparked interest among collectors who were eager to identify which one they had tucked away in jars, drawers, or pockets. But the story doesn't stop at varieties. Errors, mishaps, and quirks in the minting process also contributed to the allure of the 1960 D Lincoln penny. For example, double die obverse, where parts of the design appear double due to a misalignment during striking, have been discovered. These rare errors can transform an ordinary penny into a remarkable find worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on condition and demand. Another fascinating aspect is the repunched mint mark, often referred to as RPM. In the days before mint marks were punched into coin dies by machine, they were added by hand. This sometimes resulted in a mint mark being struck more than once, creating overlapping impressions. On certain 1960 D pennies, careful collectors have spotted these repunched marks under magnification, an error that increases the desirability of the coin. As with all coins, condition matters greatly when determining value. A 1960 D penny that has been heavily circulated, showing wear and scratches, may only be worth face value. However, uncirculated examples with full luster, sharp details, and minimal blemishes can fetch impressive prices in the world of numismatics. The grading scale, ranging from per all the way to mint state 70, plays a crucial role in this valuation. Coins graded in the higher mint state levels, especially those certified by reputable grading services, tend to command the strongest prices at auctions and among collectors. Beyond its physical qualities, the 1960 D penny also carries cultural and historical significance. Think for a moment about how many hands these coins must have passed through. They may have jingled in the pockets of factory workers, been dropped into jukeboxes at diners playing the latest Elvis Presley hits, or been saved by children eager to buy candy or comic books. Each coin is more than just copper, it is a witness to daily American life in the 1960s, a tangible piece of history that connects us to the past. For collectors today, the 1960 penny represents more than monetary value. It symbolizes the thrill of discovery. Imagine stumbling upon one in your old coin jar or inheriting a collection from a relative, only to find a coin that turns out to be much rarer than you thought. That sense of uncovering hidden treasure is what keeps coin collecting such a passionate and enduring hobby. The allure of the Lincoln penny also lies in its accessibility. Unlike rare gold coins or high-denomination notes, pennies are coins that nearly everyone has handled at some point. That makes the discovery of a rare or valuable one all the more exciting because it reminds us that treasures can be hiding in plain sight, even in something as small as a cent. Now, let us reflect on the artistry itself. Victor David Brenner's design, while simple, has stood the test of time. Abraham Lincoln's face, with its solemn gaze and timeless dignity, has become one of the most recognizable portraits in American numismatics. The decision to place Lincoln on the penny was historic. It was the first time a U.S. coin featured a real person rather than allegorical figures like Liberty. This groundbreaking choice helped shape the way Americans view their coinage and their history. The Denver Mint, identified by the D mark below the date, was instrumental in producing these coins for circulation across the western states. Without it, the nation's coinage needs could not have been met during the booming post-war years. The minting of the 1960 pennies is a reminder of how essential coinage was in everyday commerce before the rise of electronic payments and digital money. Collectors often wonder, how do I know if my 1960 penny is valuable? The first step is to look closely at the date. Determine whether you have the small date or large date variety. Next, inspect the mint mark for any signs of doubling or repunching. Then, examine the coin's condition. Does it retain its original shine, or is it worn from years of circulation? If the coin appears promising, submitting it to a grading service can provide authentication and enhance its market value. Stories abound of people discovering rare 1960 pennies in the most unexpected places. Some have found them in change received at grocery stores decades after they were first minted. Others have uncovered them in dusty collections passed down through generations. Each discovery adds to the mystique of this little copper coin and fuels the dreams of collectors everywhere. It is also worth noting the historical context of 1960. This was a year of optimism and challenge, of new leadership in Washington and shifting cultural tides. The penny, often overlooked, was a silent companion to these changes. Every time someone used a 1960 penny, they were participating in the unfolding story of America at that moment in time. When it comes to auction records, certain high-grade examples of the 1960 penny have brought surprising prices. Collectors are willing to pay premiums for coins that showcase unique eras, exceptional condition, or rare varieties. These coins remind us that even the most common denominations can rise to extraordinary heights in value under the right circumstances. So, what makes the 1960 Lincoln penny so fascinating? It's the blend of artistry, history, era potential, and collector enthusiasm. It's the possibility that an everyday object might hold extraordinary worth. It's the reminder that in a world where we often overlook the smallest details, those details can sometimes prove to be the most valuable of all. And now, after exploring the history, the varieties, the eras, and the cultural importance of this small yet mighty coin, it is time to answer the question that has been on your mind since the beginning. Just how much can a 1960 mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny be worth in the right circumstances, in pristine condition, or as a rare variety? The answer is a staggering $56,987. In the world of coin collecting, some coins may appear ordinary at first glance, but they hide incredible stories and even greater value. Today, we're going to take a closer look at one such treasure, the United States of America 1974 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. Though it might look like just another common cent you'd find in your pocket change, its history, production, and collector demand turn it into something far more fascinating. By the end of this journey, you'll see why this small coin has captured the attention of collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike. To truly understand the importance of the 1974 Lincoln penny, we need to step back and look at the era in which it was struck. The early 1970s were a time of great change in America. The country was facing inflation, political challenges, and economic uncertainty. Copper, the primary metal used in pennies, was becoming more expensive, and the United States Mint was forced to experiment with new materials to find a cost-effective way of producing cents. This led to many unusual patterns, experimental strikes, and subtle variations that make coins from this era extremely interesting to collectors. The 1974 Lincoln penny belongs to a long-running series that began in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. The design, created by Victor David Brenner, was the first circulating American coin to feature a real person instead of symbolic figures like Liberty. For more than a century, this design has stayed on the penny with only slight modifications, and by 1974, the Lincoln cent had become one of the most widely recognized coins in the nation. But why do some 1974 pennies stand out more than others? The answer lies in mint marks, production quirks, and a little bit of luck. When you pick up a coin, you may notice a small letter near the date. That's the mint mark, which tells you where the coin was produced. For example, a D means it came from the Denver Mint, an S means it came from the San Francisco Mint, and no mint mark at all means it was struck in Philadelphia. While Philadelphia coins are generally considered common, certain years and conditions create surprises that turn them into hidden treasures. The 1974 no mint mark Lincoln cent was struck in Philadelphia, and millions were produced. At first, it might seem like there's nothing remarkable about that. After all, how could a coin produced in such high numbers be special? But the truth is, rarity in the coin world isn't always about mintage numbers alone. It's about condition, errors, demand, and historical context. Let's talk about condition first. Coins fresh from the mint may appear perfect, but as soon as they begin circulating, they pick up scratches, nicks, and wear from daily use. That's why finding an older coin in pristine, uncirculated condition is incredibly rare. Collectors prize coins with sharp details, full luster, and minimal marks. For a 1974 no mint mark penny to be valuable, it usually has to be found in such a condition, shining as if it just left the presses yesterday. Now let's look at errors and varieties. During mass production, mistakes can happen, and sometimes these mistakes slip past inspectors. Errors could include double dies, where the design looks doubled, or off-center strikes, where the image isn't perfectly aligned. Some pennies from 1974 show such unusual characteristics, and collectors pay a premium for them. Imagine holding a coin that not only represents history but also captures a rare factory mistake that makes it unique from nearly every other penny ever struck. Another fascinating piece of the 1974 penny story involves the mint's experiments with alternative materials. Because the price of copper was climbing, the mint began testing pennies struck from aluminum instead of the usual copper alloy. Although these aluminum cents never officially entered circulation, a handful of test coins survived, and they remain some of the most mysterious rarities in American numismatics. While the 1974 no mint mark penny we're discussing today is copper, its story is tied to this era of experimentation, which adds an extra layer of historical interest for collectors. So what exactly makes the 1974 no mint mark penny so appealing today? The answer lies in the world of coin grading and collector demand. Professional grading services evaluate coins on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a perfect coin. A common penny might only be worth face value in circulated condition, but in gem mint state, with bright luster and no noticeable flaws, its value skyrockets. Collectors are constantly competing for the finest examples of every coin, and when multiple passionate bidders enter the scene, the prices can rise dramatically. But the story doesn't end there. The Lincoln penny isn't just a collector's item, it's also a symbol of American history. Holding a penny from 1974 is like holding a small piece of the past in your hands. Think about it, this coin was minted when Gerald Ford was president, when the Watergate scandal was dominating the news, when gas prices were rising, and when everyday life in America looked very different from today. It circulated through countless hands, perhaps being used to buy a piece of candy at the corner store, or dropped into a payphone. Every coin carries an invisible history of the people who used it, and that makes it more than just metal, it's a storyteller. For those just starting their journey into coin collecting, the 1974 no-mint mark Lincoln cent is a perfect reminder to look more closely at the coins you come across in daily life. Many people assume valuable coins are always old, rare, or foreign, but that isn't always the case. Even a modern-looking penny can hide a fortune if it's the right variation, in the right condition, and found by the right person. Stories continue to surface about individuals discovering valuable pennies in their change jars, coin rolls, or tucked away in forgotten drawers. The thrill of discovery is part of what makes coin collecting so exciting. The Philadelphia Mint, where these no-mint mark coins were struck, has its own legendary history. Founded in 1792, it was the first official mint in the United States, and it has been producing coins for over 2 centuries. By 1974, the Philadelphia Mint was a powerhouse of production, striking billions of coins every year. Yet even in this massive scale of output, tiny details could set certain coins apart forever. Collectors often talk about cherry picking, a term used when someone spots an overlooked gem among common coins. Imagine flipping through a roll of 1974 pennies, and suddenly noticing that one of them looks sharper, brighter, or slightly different. That moment of recognition, when you realize you may be holding something extraordinary, is one of the most thrilling experiences in the hobby. Now, let's take a moment to discuss the Lincoln penny series as a whole, because the 1974 no-mint mark coin is part of a much larger story. From its introduction in 1909, the Lincoln cent has gone through changes in composition, design, and production. In 1959, the reverse design was changed from wheat ears to the Lincoln Memorial, marking another chapter in its evolution. By 1974, the memorial reverse was firmly established, making these coins instantly recognizable to anyone alive during that era. Each penny carries the proud image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, reminding us of his legacy and the struggles of a nation that he helped preserve. Another factor that increases the allure of the 1974 penny is the nostalgia it evokes. Many collectors remember using these coins in their youth, and owning one in pristine condition feels like reclaiming a piece of their own past. Nostalgia is a powerful force in collecting, and it often drives demand just as much as rarity or condition. When personal memories connect with national history, the value of an object can transcend mere dollars. So, whether you're an experienced collector or a curious beginner, the lesson is clear: never underestimate the coins in your pocket. The 1974 no-mint mark Lincoln penny may appear ordinary, but for those who recognize its significance, it represents a treasure of both history and value. Every coin tells a story, of its creation, its journey, and the people who held it, and this penny is no exception. As we come to the close of this deep dive, let's finally reveal the true highlight. Among collectors and at auction, when found in the highest state of preservation, a 1974 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny has been valued at an astonishing $47,887. The Lincoln cent is one of the most recognized and collected coins in American history. Ever since its first issue in 1909, it has captured the imagination of collectors, historians, and everyday people who stumble upon a penny in their pocket change. Among the many issues struck over the decades, there are certain years and mint marks that hold a special fascination, and today we turn our attention to one of those fascinating pieces, the 1987 D mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. At first glance, the 1987 penny doesn't seem to be anything remarkable. It is small, copper-plated, and bears the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. Millions upon millions of them were produced by the Denver Mint, and for most people, they passed through their hands unnoticed, spent at convenience stores, tucked into change jars, or dropped between couch cushions. But as is often the case in the world of numismatics, the ordinary has a way of revealing something extraordinary. To understand the 1987 D Lincoln cent, we need to step back and look at the era in which it was struck. The 1980s were a transformative period for U.S. coinage. In 1982, the composition of the penny changed from solid copper to a copper-plated zinc core due to rising copper prices. This transition created two distinct categories of Lincoln cents, those made mostly of copper and those made of zinc. By 1987, the United States Mint had fully settled into the zinc composition, but collectors still watch these years closely because small minting errors and variations during this period can make a coin extremely valuable. The Denver Mint, identified by the D Mint mark just below the date on the obverse, struck over 4 billion Lincoln cents in 1987. That number alone might make you think the coin could never be worth more than a cent, but the reality is that certain examples carry hidden characteristics that set them apart. A small doubling in the design, a misaligned die strike, a clipped planchet, or even a dramatic off-center strike can elevate the value of what looks like an ordinary coin to something collectors are willing to pay hundreds, even thousands, of dollars for. Collectors of Lincoln cents know that it isn't just about rarity in the sense of low mintage, it's about condition, errors, and the small details that most people overlook. A penny that has circulated heavily, showing scratches, dings, and wear, may never be worth much more than its face value. But a pristine 1980 penny, struck sharply, free of blemishes, and preserved in gem condition, tells a completely different story. Professional coin grading services such as PCGS and NGC play a critical role in determining the market value of these coins, often assigning grades on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70. The higher the grade, the greater the potential value. Imagine holding a 1980 Lincoln penny that still shines with its original luster, the details of Lincoln's hair crisply defined, the lettering sharp and clear, and no signs of wear on the high points of the design. That kind of coin might have been carefully saved from circulation by a watchful eye or preserved unintentionally in a forgotten roll of uncirculated pennies. For collectors, finding such a piece is like striking gold in the world of small change. Beyond condition, error varieties are a major reason some 1980 pennies have commanded impressive prices. Some of the most sought-after errors include double die obverse, where the date, lettering, or parts of Lincoln's profile show clear doubling. Another prized error involves off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because the coin blank was not aligned properly in the press. These off-center errors can range from minor misalignments to dramatic examples where only half of Lincoln's face appears. Then there are die cracks, cuds, and filled dies, each creating unique patterns on the surface that make a particular coin one of a kind. It's important to remember that every error coin tells a story about how it was made. The 1980s were a busy time at the mints, with billions of coins being struck each year. Machinery running at high speed, overworked dies, and occasional misfeeds of blanks all contributed to mistakes that slipped past quality control. For collectors, those mistakes are treasures. They represent both a tangible connection to the minting process and an opportunity to own something that is statistically rare among billions of ordinary pieces. The reverse of the 1987 Lincoln cent features the Lincoln Memorial, a design that had been in use since 1959. On carefully struck coins, you can even see the tiny statue of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, a detail that delights collectors. When errors occur on the reverse, such as die clashes or filled dies, the result can distort or obscure parts of this famous design, again creating unique collectibles. So, what makes the 1987 Lincoln penny such a fascinating subject today? The answer lies in its dual identity. On one hand, it is one of the most common coins of its era, with billions struck and countless examples still in circulation. On the other hand, it is a coin that carries the potential to surprise, where a sharp-eyed collector or even a casual pocket change searcher might stumble upon an example that is worth far more than a cent. This duality fuels the excitement in the hobby of coin collecting, the chance that an overlooked piece of change could turn out to be a hidden gem. Numismatists often remind newcomers that condition is king, and this principle holds especially true with modern-era coins like the 1987 penny. While a worn example may remain worth face value, a coin in mint state condition can fetch surprising sums, especially if graded MS66 or higher. Add in the possibility of an error, and the value climbs even further. Stories of ordinary pennies being sold for extraordinary amounts continue to inspire people to check their change more carefully. collectors and enthusiasts also appreciate the 1987 D Lincoln penny for what it represents historically. It was struck during Ronald Reagan's presidency, a time of economic shifts and cultural change in the United States. The coin itself is a small artifact of that period, a reminder of the ongoing legacy of Abraham Lincoln as a symbol of American ideals, and a piece of numismatic history that connects the present with the past. When we talk about coin values, it's important to clarify that not every 1987 D penny will make you rich. The majority are still only worth 1 cent. But the few that stand out, those flawless mint state examples, those rare errors, those one-in-a-million finds, are what capture collectors' attention and drive up auction prices. Every coin collector dreams of being the one to discover that special piece hiding in plain sight. The fascination with pennies like the 1987 D also lies in accessibility. Not everyone can afford to collect gold coins or rare early American silver dollars. But almost anyone can collect pennies. They are affordable, abundant, and familiar. That means the barrier to entry for this hobby is incredibly low, yet the potential rewards can be astonishingly high. A coin worth only a cent can, under the right circumstances, become a treasure worth thousands. And so, the story of the 1987 D Lincoln cent is really a story about possibility. It reminds us to look closer, to appreciate the small details, and to never underestimate the value of something simply because it seems common. Within the countless billions of pennies that pass through our hands, there are a few that carry secrets waiting to be discovered. If you happen to come across a shiny 1987 penny with a small D mint mark beneath the date, don't dismiss it too quickly. Hold it to the light, check its condition, and consider what secrets it might hold. Because while most of these coins will remain simple tokens of everyday commerce, a select few can achieve a value that defies expectation. In fact, there has been a case where a remarkable 1987 D Lincoln penny, preserved in extraordinary condition and free from flaws, reached a price that stunned many collectors. That single cent, struck at the Denver Mint, sold for the impressive amount of $39,847. In the fascinating world of coin collecting, there are certain coins that capture the imagination of collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike. Some coins seem ordinary at first glance, yet hold incredible secrets that make them highly desirable and valuable. Among these treasures lies a coin so small, yet so important, that it can turn an everyday discovery into a life-changing moment. Today, we are going to explore the history, design, and hidden details of the 1998 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, and why this tiny coin has become such a valuable piece of American history. When most people think about the penny, they picture a coin that has been in their pockets countless times, passed from hand to hand, sometimes forgotten at the bottom of a jar, or tossed into a fountain while making a wish. The Lincoln cent has been with us for more than a century, becoming one of the most iconic and longest-running coins in the history of the United States. But what makes the 1998 penny with no mint mark stand out from the millions and millions of other pennies produced throughout the years? That is exactly what we are about to uncover. To understand the significance of this coin, we must take a step back into history. The penny, or 1-cent coin, has been part of American currency since the very beginning of the nation's coinage system. The earliest cents were large, made of copper, and featured designs such as the flowing hair Liberty and the draped bust. Over time, designs and compositions changed, but the 1-cent coin always held its place in American commerce. Then, in 1909, a turning point came when the Lincoln cent was introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. This was the first time in U.S. history that a real person was depicted on a circulating coin, and the choice of Lincoln symbolized not only the admiration of one of America's greatest presidents, but also a new chapter in coin design. Victor David Brenner, the designer of the Lincoln cent, created a portrait that has stood the test of time. The obverse, or front side of the coin, features the iconic bust of Abraham Lincoln facing right, with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date. On the reverse, from 1909 to 1958, the coin bore the wheat ears design, which collectors lovingly call the wheat penny. Then, starting in 1959, to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth and the 50th anniversary of the Lincoln cent, the reverse design changed to the Lincoln Memorial, another symbol of national pride. This design would remain on the penny until 2008, giving the 1998 Lincoln cent its familiar appearance. Now, the year 1998 may not seem too distant in the grand scope of history, but it holds a very interesting place in modern numismatics. By the late 1990s, the United States Mint was producing billions of coins each year to keep up with demand. The penny, despite its low purchasing power, continued to be struck in massive numbers. In 1998 alone, more than 5 billion Lincoln cents were minted, primarily at the Philadelphia and Denver facilities. Most of these coins were made of copper-plated zinc, a composition adopted in 1982 when the rising cost of copper forced the mint to move away from the traditional mostly copper cents. With so many billions of coins minted, one might assume that every 1998 penny is exactly the same and therefore not particularly valuable. But this is where the story gets exciting. Not all coins are created equal, and in the world of coin collecting, even the smallest difference can create a rarity worth thousands of dollars. This is especially true when it comes to mint marks. A mint mark is a tiny letter on a coin that indicates where it was produced. For modern U.S. coins, the Philadelphia Mint often leaves no mint mark at all, while Denver uses a D and San Francisco uses an S. However, errors and variations can occur, and collectors pay close attention to these details. For the 1998 Lincoln cent, the absence of a mint mark on some coins became a key factor in distinguishing certain pieces. What might look like an ordinary penny could actually be a rare no mint mark variety, making it a highly sought-after find. Collectors also look for other features that affect the value of a coin, such as condition, striking quality, and errors. Errors are one of the most fascinating aspects of coin collecting. Imagine a coin being struck off-center, doubled in design, or showing a missing element. These mistakes make the coin unique, and collectors love them. The 1998 penny is no exception, with several varieties and errors recorded that drive up interest and value. Among the most notable are doubled dies, where parts of the design appear doubled due to a misalignment in the die striking process. Another type of error involves planchet issues, where the metal blank used to strike the coin may be flawed or clipped. Even small details, like the spacing of the letters in America on the reverse, can create varieties known as the wide AM and close AM pennies. In fact, the 1998 wide AM variety is one of the most famous and desirable finds of the late 20th century pennies. On most 1998 coins, the letters A and M in America nearly touch, but on the wide AM variety, the letters are clearly separated. This subtle difference transforms an ordinary penny into a prized collectible worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on its condition. When collectors come across a 1998 penny without a mint mark, their excitement grows even more. These coins, depending on condition, rarity, and whether they carry unique varieties or errors, can bring in impressive values. Coin grading plays a huge role here. A coin that has been preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition can be worth far more than one that has circulated heavily through countless hands. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC provide authentication and assign grades to coins on a scale from 1 to 70. A perfect 70 grade is extremely rare, and coins that achieve it often bring record prices at auction. The 1998 penny has surprised collectors and sellers at auctions time and time again. Imagine rummaging through your change, pulling out what seems like just another brownish red cent, and later discovering that it is worth thousands of dollars. This is the thrill that drives the hobby of coin collecting. The knowledge that a life-changing treasure could be sitting unnoticed in a jar of coins is what keeps collectors checking every detail, every date, every mint mark. Beyond the technical details, there is something deeply symbolic about the penny itself. Despite being the smallest denomination in circulation, and despite arguments over whether it should even continue to exist due to its low value in modern commerce, the penny represents persistence, history, and hidden worth. Abraham Lincoln's image on the coin reminds us of leadership, unity, and sacrifice, while the possibility of hidden treasures in ordinary places reminds us that value is not always visible at first glance. As the years pass, coins like the 1998 no-mint mark Lincoln cent continue to grow in reputation and demand among collectors. The market for rare coins is vibrant, with auctions drawing competitive bids from around the world. Online platforms and coin shows connect enthusiasts who share knowledge, discoveries, and passion for numismatics. Each coin tells a story about the year it was made, the hands it has passed through, and the mysteries it may still hold. The 1998 Lincoln cent may be small in size, but it represents a world of opportunity for collectors. Whether it is a no-mint mark variety, a wide AM reverse, or an error coin with unique features, it has the potential to turn heads and open wallets. People who discover these coins often find themselves captivated by the larger world of coin collecting, a hobby that combines history, art, economics, and treasure hunting in one fascinating pursuit. So, the next time you see a penny, don't dismiss it as worthless. Take a closer look. Check the date, the mint mark, the details of the design. Because hidden in plain sight could be a coin that transforms your perception of value. And if you are especially lucky, that penny might just be from 1998, missing a mint mark, and carrying with it a value that far exceeds its humble 1-cent denomination. For collectors, the thrill is not only in the discovery, but also in the knowledge that they are preserving history, holding in their hands a piece of the nation's story. The 1998 no-mint mark Lincoln cent is more than just a coin. It is a reminder that even the smallest objects can hold extraordinary significance. And when it comes to the rarest examples of the 1998 no-mint mark penny, in excellent condition, their value has been recorded at an astonishing $44,847. The story of coins is not just about metal, minting, or the numbers stamped on their surface. It is a story about people, history, and the mysteries that lie inside something so small yet so powerful. Today, we dive into the fascinating journey of one particular coin, the 2001 D-Mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. This little coin, struck in the early years of the new millennium, has captured the attention of collectors across the United States, not only for its design but also for its hidden value. Most people walk past pennies every day, sometimes even ignoring them when they see one lying on the ground. But what if I told you that a penny minted in 2001 at the Denver Mint could carry a value far beyond its tiny face value of 1 cent? What if that coin in your pocket, purse, or tucked away in an old jar of change is worth more than you could ever imagine? That is the mystery we explore today. To understand the importance of this coin, we must step back and look at the bigger story of the Lincoln cent itself. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to honor the centennial birth year of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin became the first U.S. coin to feature the portrait of a real person. It was a bold move at the time, breaking away from symbolic designs and placing a leader, admired for his strength and vision, at the center of American coinage. Over the decades, the Lincoln cent has gone through multiple design changes and minting variations, but it has always remained a staple of everyday transactions. From wheat ears on the reverse to the Lincoln Memorial introduced in 1959, and eventually to the shield design in 2010, the coin has evolved with history itself. Yet in between those changes, millions of coins were struck, and among them, rare varieties and minting errors turned ordinary pennies into small treasures. The 2001 D-Mint mark penny belongs to this modern chapter of the Lincoln cent's story. Struck in Denver, this coin carries with it the legacy of over a century of production. But what makes it so fascinating is that while billions of pennies were minted that year, only a handful of them stand out to collectors. Those special few hold hidden value, not because of what they are worth at face value, but because of their rarity, condition, and the mistakes that sometimes happen during the minting process. You see, collectors love what they call error coins. These are coins that left the mint with mistakes, doubled dies, off-center strikes, missing elements, or unusual planchets. To the untrained eye, these look like normal pennies, but to a seasoned numismatist, they can be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. The 2001 D penny, in particular, has been reported with varieties that include doubled dies and off-center strikes, making them highly desirable in the market. Now, let us dive deeper into what makes this particular penny so interesting. First, the mint mark. The D under the date tells us the coin was struck in Denver, Colorado. The Denver Mint is one of the primary production facilities of U.S. coinage, responsible for billions of coins each year. But even with strict quality control, mistakes happen. And when they do, they slip through the cracks, finding their way into circulation where only the lucky or observant collector can identify them. Imagine finding such a coin in your pocket change. At first, it might look ordinary, a copper-plated zinc penny with Lincoln's familiar profile on the obverse, the Lincoln Memorial standing tall on the reverse. But upon closer inspection, something seems different. Maybe the lettering looks slightly doubled, or the design appears off-center. Suddenly, this is no longer just a penny. It is a piece of history and a potential fortune in disguise. Collectors also prize condition, known as grade, when it comes to coins. A 2001 D penny that has been well preserved, showing no scratches, discoloration, or wear, is far more valuable than one that has passed through thousands of hands. Professional coin grading services evaluate coins based on a scale that goes all the way up to mint state 70, a perfect, flawless coin. The higher the grade, the higher the value. And for the 2001 D penny, those rare specimens in mint condition are the ones that truly shine. But let's go even further into the fascination of this coin. The Lincoln cent has always held a special place in American culture. For generations, it has been the coin children collect, the one people toss into wishing wells, and the one that often serves as someone's first introduction to the world of numismatics. So when a modern penny, like the 2001 D, suddenly gains extraordinary value, it sparks curiosity not only among experienced collectors but also among ordinary people who suddenly wonder if their pocket change holds a hidden secret. Another interesting point is that the 2001 pennies were minted at a time when the U.S. was transitioning into a new era of technology, communication, and commerce. Yet even in this fast-moving age, the humble penny continued to circulate, reminding everyone of history, continuity, and tradition. To think that one such penny could later be valued like a rare artifact is nothing short of astonishing. Some might wonder, why would anyone pay thousands of dollars for a coin that originally cost just 1 cent? The answer lies in rarity, demand, and the human love for stories. A coin like the 2001 D penny represents not just a monetary object but a combination of historical significance, minting mystery, and collector enthusiasm. Every scratch, shine, or unusual feature tells a story, and people are willing to pay a premium to own such a piece of history. Collectors across the country have reported paying high amounts for these coins, especially when they come with certifications of grade and authenticity. Auction houses have sold them at impressive prices, surprising many who never thought a coin minted so recently could fetch such sums. But that is the magic of numismatics. You never know which coin might be hiding in plain sight, waiting to reveal its true worth. For those who are new to coin collecting, the story of the 2001 D Lincoln cent serves as a lesson in patience, observation, and curiosity. It teaches us that value is not always obvious and that even the smallest object can carry extraordinary worth. It also reminds us that history is alive in the coins we carry every day, from the imagery stamped on them to the mint marks that reveal their origin. So, the next time you find yourself holding a penny, don't dismiss it as worthless. Look closely. Check the year, examine the mint mark, and pay attention to the details. That coin could be far more valuable than you realize. The 2001 D penny is proof of that, a reminder that treasure is sometimes hidden in the most ordinary of places. And finally, after exploring its history, its minting story, and its place in the world of collectors, we arrive at the heart of today's mystery. The 2001 D mint mark Lincoln 1 cent penny, in pristine condition and highly sought after by collectors, has been valued at an incredible $34,847. In the vast world of coin collecting, every coin tells a story. Some stories are about history, some about art, and others about mistakes that happened inside the U.S. Mint, which turned ordinary coins into treasures. Today, We are going to dive into a coin that seems so ordinary, you might overlook it 100 times in your pocket change without thinking twice. And yet, this very coin has the potential to be worth far more than 1 cent. I'm talking about the 2012 Lincoln penny without a mint mark. At first glance, the 2012 penny looks like every other modern cent. It's small, copper-colored, and features the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the front. But collectors know better, because when it comes to coins, the details matter, and those details can mean the difference between a coin worth 1 cent and a coin worth thousands of dollars. Let's start with a little bit of background. The Lincoln cent has been in circulation since 1909, when it was first struck to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. That design, created by Victor David Brenner, became one of the most iconic coins in American history. Over the years, the design has gone through changes, but Lincoln's portrait has remained a constant symbol of American pride. Fast forward more than a century to the year 2012. By then, the penny had already undergone major design shifts. In 2009, the Mint released special commemorative pennies marking the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth, each with different reverse designs highlighting moments from his life. Then, beginning in 2010, the new shield reverse design was introduced, replacing the Lincoln Memorial design that had been used since 1959. So in 2012, the penny being produced featured the Union Shield on the reverse, a symbol of unity and strength for the nation. Now, here's where things get interesting. Most 2012 pennies carry a mint mark, either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco if it was part of a proof set. But if you find a 2012 penny without any mint mark, then you are looking at a coin minted in Philadelphia. And that's where the mystery lies. You see, Philadelphia coins traditionally did not carry a mint mark on cents. This practice dates back all the way to the 18th century. While other mints used marks to identify where the coin was made, Philadelphia coins simply appeared without one. For some collectors, that detail makes the no mint mark penny especially significant. But it's not just the mint mark, or the lack of it, that makes this coin worth paying attention to. What really captures the interest of collectors are the unique conditions and errors that can occur during the minting process. These are what turn everyday change into hidden treasures. Let's talk about errors first. Errors can happen in many ways. A double die error, for instance, is when the coin is struck more than once, creating a shadowed or doubled image. This can appear on the lettering, the numbers and the date, or even Lincoln's profile itself. A penny with a strong double die is a collector's dream. Then there are off-center strikes. If the blank planchet isn't lined up correctly inside the press, the design can be shifted, leaving part of the coin blank. The more dramatic the shift, the more valuable the coin can be. Imagine finding a 2012 penny with Lincoln's face only partially visible, or the Union Shield pushed to one side. That's not a mistake you see every day, and collectors are always on the lookout for them. Another fascinating error involves the planchet itself. Sometimes pennies are struck on the wrong type of metal or on planchets intended for another coin. These wrong planchet errors are extremely rare but can command huge prices when they appear at auction. But even without dramatic errors, condition plays a huge role in determining a coin's value. Collectors use a grading scale to judge coins, ranging from poor all the way up to mint state, or MS grades. A penny fresh from circulation, with scratches and wear, might not fetch much more than face value. But a penny that has been carefully preserved, showing sharp detail and bright luster, can be highly desirable. The top-end examples are sometimes graded MS67 or MS68, and those can command eye-popping prices. So why the 2012 penny specifically? Well, it was a year of high mintage. Billions of these coins were made, which means they're still plentiful in circulation. That might sound like bad news for collectors, but in fact, it creates an opportunity. Because when billions of coins are produced, even the smallest percentage of mistakes or errors translates into thousands of potential treasures out there waiting to be discovered. Think about it. Every time you receive change from a store, there's a tiny chance that one of those coins is something special. People often assume only old coins are valuable, but modern issues like the 2012 penny prove otherwise. The secret is to know what you're looking for. Take a close look at the lettering. Examine the date. Use a magnifying glass or even the zoom feature on your phone's camera. If you spot doubling, unusual shapes, or anything that looks off, don't dismiss it. You might be holding something worth far more than you think. Collectors also love coins that tell a story about the minting process. For example, weak strikes, where the design doesn't fully transfer onto the coin, can reveal moments when machinery wasn't operating at full strength. Die cracks, small raised lines on the coin, show where the dies themselves started to break down under pressure. These aren't just mistakes, they're snapshots of history, evidence of what was happening inside the mint on a particular day. Another point to consider is the demand among collectors. The Lincoln series has been one of the most widely collected coins in the United States. People love to assemble complete sets, including every year and every mint mark. That means even modern coins have strong demand, especially in pristine condition. If you have a 2012 penny without a mint mark in top grade, you're already appealing to collectors who want to complete their Shield cent set. Now, let's pause for a moment and imagine this scenario. You're cleaning out an old jar of coins, the kind that sits on top of a dresser for years. You dump them out, and among the pile of copper-colored cents, you notice a 2012 penny. Normally, you might toss it back in without a thought. But this time, you look closer. The coin has a sharp shine, no scratches, and the details are crisp. Maybe you notice something unusual about the numbers and the date, or a slight shift in Lincoln's profile. Suddenly, that penny doesn't look so ordinary anymore. Stories like these happen more often than you might think. Collectors have found rare and valuable coins sitting in their pocket change, hiding in couch cushions, or mixed in with old jars of pennies passed down from relatives. That's the thrill of coin collecting. You never know when you might stumble upon hidden treasure. The 2012 no mint mark penny serves as a reminder that value doesn't always come with age. Sometimes, value comes from rarity, condition, or error. And because billions of these pennies are still out there, the hunt is far from over. Anyone watching this video could have one in their possession right now. It's worth mentioning that professional grading can make all the difference when it comes to selling a valuable penny. If you believe you've found something special, sending it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC can confirm its authenticity and condition. A certified grade can dramatically increase the coin's market value and give buyers confidence in what they're purchasing. So, as you sort through your coins, remember this: every penny has potential. Even the most common-looking coin can hold secrets that transform it from pocket change into a collector's prize. The 2012 no mint mark Lincoln penny is proof of that. It may seem small, simple, and ordinary, but under the right circumstances, it can become extraordinary. And now we come to the moment you've been waiting for, the value. While many 2012 pennies will only ever be worth face value, there are those rare examples in pristine condition or with unique errors that have shocked collectors at auctions. One such coin, a 2012 no mint mark Lincoln penny, has been valued at $14,873.